Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And some of you probably thought about starting your very own sports podcast. Well, let me help you out. I want to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Now, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's an easy way to make a podcast, and it's free. You don't have to worry about paying a bunch of money each month. There are creation tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So it can be heard on apps like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So go to anchorfm.com and start your very own podcast today. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And I have a very special guest here on the State of the Saints podcast. We have former left tackle, Super Bowl champ, Jermon Bushrod in the building. What's going on, Jermon?
Everything's good on my end, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, appreciate the time, man. I know you have a lot going on. You know, I know you celebrated a birthday last week. How was that, man? How was it celebrating another birthday, man? How did you celebrate it? Did you have a good time?
You know, it's a blessing to see another birthday. You know, this is my second birthday that I've had within, the last 20 plus years that I wasn't in some type of football environment, whether it's working, whether it's working out or whether it was practicing. So my birthdays are great. You know, anytime that you're able to see another one,
Right.
you got to feel very fortunate and blessed. I was back in Virginia getting ready for my foundation's events, 10th golf tournament. So I was staying busy that way.
Okay, man, that's dope, man. Happy belated birthday to you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And also, man, it's coming up on a 1-year anniversary that you announced your retirement from the NFL, man. So how's retirement life been for you?
Retirement has been, it's funny you say that. I just turned 36, and I was fortunate enough to have a great NFL run for 12 years. You know, I didn't think that I'd be able to play that long, but we did, and I had the opportunity to retire last year. So yeah, like you said, we're creeping up. I think I'm days away from my first year of retirement.
Yeah.
And it's been a good transition.
Right.
It's been good to be around the family right now, especially with everything that's going on with this pandemic. I've been able to, my kids are in school virtually, so I've been able to have a hand in that. And like I stated earlier, I've been working hard to get this foundation event up and going, and it was our best event that we've ever had amid everything that's going on. You know, golf is like the one, I guess you could say, socially distant sport that's
right.
not bad to, host an event for. So we were able to do it. We were able to do it in a safe way. So my wife is here. My kids are here. I'm healthy. I feel good. I feel good.
Yeah, that's good, man. And, we do miss you in the Who That Nation, man. You know, you brought a lot of joy to the New Orleans Saints, man, playing the left tackle position. In my opinion, arguably the greatest left tackle ever played in front of the New Orleans Saints. I mean,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But this dude, Teron, is making some noise, man. When I did leave to go to Chicago, I did see his growth, and to see where he is now, it's pretty cool. I appreciate you saying that.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully these boys can get it together to bring another championship to the city.
Yeah, man, no doubt about it. But I do want to ask you, man, there's a lot of things going on right now. You talked about the pandemic, but there's some issues that are going on, man, especially when it comes to social justice. You got the Black Lives Matter movement going on. And we know about the NBA actually deciding to not play, led by the Milwaukee Bucks. They were supposed to play a playoff game yesterday, and they decided to not play due to the shooting of Jacob Blake. And I just want to get your take about that, man. How do you feel about, all this stuff that's going on right now, the shooting of Jacob Blake? I mean, just one of several that have taken place at the hands of law enforcement.
It's another very unfortunate event. I think the good thing about the pandemic was the fact that everybody was able to slow life down, and you were able to see why some people felt the way that they felt. The pandemic was very hard on us, in the United States and all over the world, but it was an eye opener to, not to me, but to a lot of people who needed that pat on the back or that little, kick in the rear to understand, like, hey, this is the reason that these guys have been protesting. And it showed you, and it reared its ugly head again in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Now when I was playing for the Bears, I lived 30 minutes from Kenosha, so I know exactly where it is. I've rode through there before. I've actually had a friend or two from that area.
I might be losing you. I'm sorry. Did I lose you?
No. I can hear you. I can hear you clear, loud and clear, man.
All right, yeah, we're good. I got you back on here, but
okay.
It's just unfortunate, man. It's terrible to see someone who looks like me on camera again.
Right.
Thank goodness this man is still alive.
Right.
But the fact it's a trickle down effect, right? So the shooting happens, the incident happens, and everybody in the community sees it. Now their judgment of police is a little bit skewed now, right? The kids see it.
Right.
They're messed up. It's a big deal when these type of things happen. It affects a lot of people.
Right.
I'm just hoping the powers that be do the right thing. They do the right thing. They come together. But the one thing that I've been really happy to see is the response of, especially the NBA, because they did get it jump started. They canceled all 3 playoff games. That hit you in the pockets. In the NFL, a lot of the teams started to do, kind of follow suit. They canceled practice and people, that makes people aware. When everybody's together, the thing that happened with Kaepernick earlier is that, he made the ultimate sacrifice, right?
Right.
But he wasn't alone, but it was just a few people with him. Now he got the conversation started. He got the conversation started, and now everybody sees it. Now everybody's along, but he was the one who kicked it off. So people are taking notice, whether you want to or not, and you're having a lot more uncomfortable conversations with people, and I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary not just for people who aren't black, but it's necessary for people who are black as well to have these uncomfortable conversations with people moving forward, just so you can, bring yourself into our mindsets at times, and so we can have good conversations and bounce things up off of people and just open up your hearts and your minds to other people's feelings.
Yeah, I talked about that earlier on the podcast I did. I said we got to have these uncomfortable conversations, Jermon. I mean, the fact is, we don't want to have these conversations, but they're necessary in order for us to create true change. And I find myself thinking about that more because, I have a 1-year-old son. And, I think about when he starts to get older, I'm going to have a conversation with him that there's going to be people in this world they're just not going to like you, not off anything you did to them personally, but just the way that you look. And also just to make sure that, tell him all the things he needs to do when he possibly can come into the hands of a possible law enforcement official. So,
it all starts at home, It all starts about that, the knowledge that you get from where you lay your head. It all starts there, because it's funny you said that you have a 1-year-old child. I had to bring it up last night at dinner because I told I was having a conversation with a family member, and we was like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy how the NBA, they came together and they canceled all the games. And my son said, well, why'd they cancel all the games? So I had to break that down a little bit, good and bad people. There's more good than bad, but you got to understand, we got to find a way to get out of bad situations, because we got to, it's just a live and learn. That's what I try to tell them. Yeah.
Do you find yourself like being a little bit more like, I say afraid? Be the fact that you're a former athlete. You played at a high level. Do you ever like find yourself like really just thinking about, man, I have a son, he's going to be out here in this world and people are going to be judging him and they're not going to know who his father is or anything like that, their background. Do you find yourself thinking about those type of situations?
For sure. I think about how my parents would drop gems or kind of school me on how to act. When I do have these encounters with law enforcement or people in power, it's about how you carry yourself. And sometimes it's about things it might get a little heated or might get a little escalated, but figure out what's really going on and find a way to get yourself back to where you need to be. You know, don't take a situation to a place where you don't want it to go, where you don't know where it can go.
Right.
I want to find a way to get myself home.
Yeah,
you know, and I understand that emotions can take over, but as men, and being black, and being a black man in America, you have to understand how to control those emotions at times, and then figure out a way to get your best possible outcome afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing is making sure that you're getting home and make sure you're doing the right things. Let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the NFL. Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
As you know, training camp is taking place right now. This is the time where people are vying for roster positions. Let's go ahead and start with the offensive line, because this has been a hot topic for the New Orleans Saints. You have Eric McCoy, who's the center. He played last season, and the Saints drafted Cesar Ruiz, the rookie out of Michigan. Our question is to you is, how hard is it for, I guess, a young player to come in and play that center position? And can you see Cesar Ruiz being able to do it?
I think it can, but I also think it also has a lot to do with the type of individual you're drafting, the type of coaches that he's learning from, and to be honest with you, the type of players that he has in the locker room. Now, the New Orleans Saints it's an organization where they will mold you, but they will bring you along just because of the type of people that they have, their leadership. Right. Their leadership trickles down, so you see how the coaches interact with the rest of the coaches, and it kind of just trickles into the players. You're going to have players on that line that are going to be counting on the young rookie to come in there and make some kind of impact. They drafted him high for a reason. What did Sean say? We're not drafting you first in the first round for you to sit. No, he's coming in to make an impact. And the guys that he has there with him, Teron, Big Pete, Ramchek, they're going to all bring him along. We're going to bring him along, and they'll help him with the mental part of the game, the emotional part of the game. But physically, he's going to have to not really say mature, because he's played at a high level and in the division that he played out of college. But these guys are different, and there's going to be mistakes that are to be made. But the good players, the smart players, learn from all those mistakes, and they don't let it happen again, or don't let it happen again over and over and over. I feel good about the situation. I've heard nothing but great things about them. And the one great thing about the Saints scouting department, they do a really, really good job of making sure they're bringing the correct people in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I always talk about Jeff Ireland here on the show. I mean, he does an outstanding job, him and his scout team, making sure that they get gems out of that draft, man. No doubt about that. You mentioned earlier left tackle Teron Armstead. Now, when you left the New Orleans Saints and went to the Bears, there was a gap in between years before Teron came there. What can you say about Teron Armstead that makes him arguably the best left tackle in football?
I just think it's the work that he's been putting in, his knowledge of the game. I see what one great thing that Teron does that I see is that he really invests in those young guys.
Right.
So that's when I say bringing in a young guy to be counted on right now, you probably ended up in one of the better locker rooms for that, because you have guys who are going to take you under their wing, and they're going to bring you along with them, and you're going to compete at a high level, because I don't know if you know, but I know you know, but that defensive line, they're coming. Yeah. They're good. Yeah. They're going to beat you, but then they'll also help you, because that's the correct thing to do. You want to teach people, and you want to, put people in the right position that, we can all be successful. But he's in a good room. And Teron is somebody who has taken care of his body over the last few years, just off of conversations and what I've seen. He's doing a good job of making sure his body's right. His body's ready to go on game day. When he's out there, he plays at a high level. He practices at a high level. And when he's not on the field, it's noticeable, because he's a good player. He's a good player that holds his own, and he's had two tremendous years back to back.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking to see how he continues to grow as a professional athlete, and see where his game can elevate to.
Yeah, and lastly, let's talk about Ryan Ramczyk. This guy, to me, Jermon, is one of the most underrated players. Not just at a position. I'm talking about just players in general in the NFL. What have you seen playing with Ryan Ramczyk, and what makes him as dominant as he is at right tackle?
He's consistent. He's strong. He's smart. He's consistent. That's what you want out of a professional athlete. Strong, smart, consistent individuals, and he's tough. He's played through injuries. He's dealt with things, and he's always got the job done. Every time, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about him. It doesn't matter who you put over there, J.J. Watt or any other outside linebacker or successful DN. He's going to go out there. He's going to do his job. You said it. You hit the nail right on the head earlier. Right. He's very underappreciated. I don't know if he's underappreciated, but he's appreciated definitely on that team. But when it comes to the Pro Bowl nods and all that good stuff and the extra money that he should be lining his pockets with, he's not getting that nod. Right. And, right tackle isn't like the sexiest position, but he really does his job really at a high level, day in, day out, practice in and practice out. I have nothing but respect. I'm glad I had the opportunity to play with, that set of bookends.
Yeah, man. They're awesome, man. Left tackle, right tackle. The Saints are definitely solidified at those positions. Let me ask you. I gotta say this. I gotta ask you this question. Back in 2018, the NFC Championship game, man. Like, take me back to that particular game and what happened. Like at that moment when the referee did not throw that flag for that pass interference. Like, what was the emotion on the sidelines, and how was the emotions after the game?
The emotions on the sidelines were the same exact emotion that you guys were feeling, whether you're watching the game or you were in the stadium. Probably on the field, there was a lot more anger, than anything. Of course, it was disbelief because, how do you have the audacity not to call that? You know what I'm saying? So, how do you have the audacity not to call that? And I'll be honest with you, I think those refs knew that they made a mistake because, I've played for 12 years. I've played in close to 150 games, so I've had my I guess you could say interactions with the refs, and most of them aren't really that pleasant. I really let the guy who failed to throw that flag, I let him hear about it. I let him hear about it when I walked on the field for the field goal, when I walked off the field, because, we worked so hard, right? We worked so hard to get to the last game of the season, and you don't get that opportunity. It sucks. It sucks because, one, it was my last game, so selfishly it sucks for that reason. Man. But it sucks because I'm very invested, like, in the city of New Orleans. My wife's from New Orleans. My first and my third child was born in New Orleans. So, we won a Super Bowl there. It's close to my heart. And I really wanted to go out, the storybook ending, you want to go out, out, to have, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want to have that chance to do that.
Right.
But, not every story is going to be written the way that you want it to. And, so, just like Coach Payton said, I remember in the interview, he said he laid up in the house for 3 days eating ice cream, like you're getting over a breakup or something like that.
Right,
That's how it felt. I don't think I left my room for 2-3 straight days.
Wow.
We're just, it was tough. It was tough to deal with. But then, that year I lost a daughter, so I kind of, perspective was something in my mind that always stuck out anytime a situation like this would happen. It's obviously tough, but I'm still here. I still have my health. It's going to burn. But like you were saying, of course we want that ending. But this story just took one of the wildest turns ever, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl and not doing anything. So that was probably one of the more frustrating parts of it,
Yeah, I didn't even watch the Super Bowl. That's the first time I can think in my natural existence that I didn't watch the Super Bowl.
I'll put it this way. I was walking the streets because I was living in the city that time. So I was walking the streets of the Boycott Bowl and we pulled up to some restaurant over by Harris. I don't know.
Okay.
And me and my lady just watched. We watched because everybody was playing the rerun of our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we watched a little bit of that, and I watched the end of the fourth quarter, like the middle of the fourth quarter of it, and I'm just glad they lost because that was the petty side of me.
Yeah, hey, I'm just as petty as you because I was glad they lost too. Yeah. But I mean, you mentioned the Super Bowl. You guys won the Super Bowl back in 2009. You were a part of that team, and you also were a part of the team. Like you said, it was one game away from going back to the Super Bowl. I want to ask you about the coach Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Now, you came into the league in 2007. It was probably with Drew Brees going like his second year as the Saints quarterback. Yeah. Have you seen a difference between Sean Payton and Drew Brees from the time you first got there until the time you retired? Have you seen a difference?
Their relationship was pretty much the same. I believe their routine has kind of always been the same for all those years. Drew is he's the cliche, first guy in, last guy out of the building deal. Like, that's him. He's in the meetings with the coaches. A lot of those meetings, his attention to detail and his focus is really top notch. It's when you get into a locker room like that, or when you play with a guy like that, when you play with an organization that puts so much thought and so much preparation into a game plan, you have to look at yourself and make sure that you're doing everything in your power to be at your best, because you see what your leaders are doing. You see, what the coaching staff is doing. You see what the other players are doing. I don't want to let these guys down. And it's like you take your preparation and how hard you work, you ramp it up to the next level. And that's just what they do. Their relationship, they probably have a relationship where they can kind of finish each other's sentences type of deal when it comes to football, because they're always on the same page, right? When it's third and short in the red zone, Sean and Drew think of probably the same 2-3 plays that or they probably have one best play that they think about. They have that type of relationship where you can see them going back and forth, and collaborating and fixing things. And that's what I really think it takes to have a successful organization, having people who go back and forth, who have understanding, and just trying to find a way to get the job done, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a Saints fan my entire life, Jemiah, I was born and raised in New Orleans, and it's just been fun watching Sean Payton and Drew Brees over these past 15 years, change the narrative of Saints football, man. I mean, the Saints weren't the Saints that we know and love today when I was growing up, You used to have them starter jackets back in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wear a Saints jacket out in the street, like, they talk about you. If you ain't have a 49er Cowboy start on, man, they look at you like you funny, man. You had that Saints on. But, I mean, you guys have, like, you also, man, you helped change the narrative of Saints football. Final question for you. What are you looking forward to this Saints season? What are you looking at? What players do you have your eyes on?
All the players that was there previously, it was a good team. It was a good, solid team, to be honest with you. They just came up short in the playoffs, which was it sucked, to be honest with you. I was actually at that game in the stands, and I felt that feeling that the fans go through. I seen it, I felt it. But what I'm really looking at is Jared Cook, how he continues to get on the same page with Drew. And now you got a guy in Emmanuel Sanders that's going to free up Cook. You're going to free up MT a little bit. And guess what? Now we got a healthy AK, Alvin Kamara. It's going to be dangerous. It's truly going to be dangerous. Latavius Murray, Traquan Smith is going into his third year. He's going to continue to grow because he sees Mike. And you see Emmanuel Sanders. That's two alpha dogs you got in that wide receiver room. This is an opportunity for Traquan to make a name for himself, because there's going to be certain defense that try to limit Mike, but obviously you can't guard him. It's in his social media handle. You really can't guard him.
No, you can't, man.
You can't guard him. And now you got Emmanuel Sanders. You got Jared Cook. I mean, they got everything in place. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm excited. The D-line has been a huge part. DA has been doing his thing with the whole defense. The defensive line and the linebacking core They're special. DeMario he's in the same category as Ryan Ramczyk.
Right.
Top 3 in his position in the league, doesn't get the Pro Bowl, doesn't get the extra funds from getting nominated for the Pro Bowl like he should.
Straight snub.
Straight up. I'm excited to see what Davenport does. I'm excited to see how he continues to mature, become a stronger player, a better player on the edge, complimenting Cam Jordan. Because consistent. Cam is smart, consistent, and he's reliable. He's always there. You got to be excited about it. You truly got to be excited about the season. And look on the back end. You bring Malcolm back.
Man.
You got Janoris Jenkins and you got Swearinger, P-Rod. I mean, come on, bro. Like on paper, on paper, these dudes they might not lose a game. That's how good they could be. Look, I'm always gonna be. I'm gonna rep them high, man. Even on my podcast, the Bush and Me Show, I don't ever bet against them. You feel me? I'm never gonna bet against them.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to this season. I think this is going to be a really good season. I think that they addressed a lot of the holes that they had. And you talk about Traquan Smith too. I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to be playing on the outside. I think that might help him out tremendously. Ted Ginn Jr. went out there to Chicago, and I think they're probably going to slide him to the outside. You'll be able to do a little bit more damage there as well. I mean, like you said, an embarrassment of riches the New Orleans Saints have. But, Jermon, thank you very much for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. Before I let you go, I want to ask you to let everybody know about your podcast and how they can reach you.
Yeah, my podcast is Bush and Me Show, me with 2 E's, MEE Show. You can hit me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're going to start getting it back going here in the next week. We're just going to tighten up our social media stuff a little bit, and then we're going to kind of hit the ground running once these games start back so we can start to break down. I'm going to be talking a lot about the O&D line because that's what I know. That's what I enjoy talking about. My co-host, me, he gets into the gambling side of sports. So, if you want to try to make an extra dollar here or there, my guy knows what he's doing. That's what he's been doing for a long time. We have a good time. It's my buddy from college. And aside from that, my Visualize and Rise Foundation, we're making an impact in our communities. We're looking to come to New Orleans and do some more things. And, that's really about it. Retirement's treating me good. I'm excited about the Saints, and so should the Who Dat Nation.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're looking forward to your podcast, Bush and Me, and all other, outside projects that you have going on, man. We're looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you so much for your time and once again being a part of the State of the Saints podcast.
All good, brother. Thanks for having me on.
All right, you take care, man.